Hey everyone, for our next tutorial we're going to get into pattern features. Under our tutorials window, let's go to all SolidWorks tutorials and then click on pattern features. In this lesson you learn how to create a linear pattern and a circular pattern. A linear pattern is a 1 or 2 dimensional array of features. A circular pattern is a circular array of features. The steps include creating an oblong cut, creating a linear pattern, creating a circular pattern, and using an equation to drive the circular pattern. Let's start by opening the sample part. And straight away, I've just changed my view and my shading to shaded with edges so I can see the whole body. Let's get into it. So first, we're going to sketch an oblong cut. So we're going to create the feature that you're going to pattern. So using patterns, most of the time is when you've already created some geometry and then you want to replicate it, usually in a line or along an arc or around a circle. Something like that. In this example, we create a profile of an oblong on a reference plane. We use mirroring to take advantage of symmetry and to decrease the number of relations needed to fully define the sketch. So let's follow the steps here. On the front plane, we'll do a new sketch. As I've mentioned before, I like to do my sketches first, select the features afterwards. So we're on the front plane. We're going to click center line on the sketch toolbar. So center line is under this little drop down arrow here, and we're going to sketch a vertical center line through the origin. So click on the origin and drag up. Now make that vertical, and then we're going to click the line tool and sketch 2 horizontal lines of equal length beginning at the center line. I think this is what it means, but the image isn't very clear, so we'll skip to the next page and see. Yep. Okay, completing the sketch. Click tangent arc on the sketch toolbar, and we're going to join up that sketch. Now you can see that's tangent. It's added those relations very neatly. And they want us to mirror. So to mirror, I'm going to select those items by drawing a selection box from top left to bottom right, selecting mirror, and then in the mirror about box, selecting the construction line. There we go. Now, what I don't really like about how this tutorial here is if they're going to teach you to do this shape, you should just use the slot tool, and you should go center point straight slot, click on the center point, click and drag out, and there's your shape with much less clicks, but just the same result. So yeah, let's use the one I've created and dimension it as they've done in the sketch there. So 60, and we'll just delete that top sketch. Now I don't know if we need this construction line here either, but we'll just leave it in. Sketch is fully defined. Let's create the cut. So just go to a 3D view, and then we'll go to extrude cut, and we're going to go through all for the end condition. So we're just going through one direction. Okay, so it's coming out this side here. Now create the linear pattern. Now you create a linear pattern of the oblong cut on the sample part. You use a vertical dimension to specify the direction in which to create the linear pattern. Double click cut extrude in the feature manager design tree. The dimensions of the cut extrude feature appear in the graphics area. If you click off, they will disappear. Now, if you click once on the cut extrude feature, they will actually appear. It's the same thing. No need to double click. Click linear pattern on the features toolbar. That can be found here. And because we had cut extrude already selected, it's put it here into the features and faces box under features to pattern. Now we'll go through our settings. So in direction 1, for pattern direction, click 60 in the graphics area to create a pattern along the same direction as the dimension line. Very cool. All right, which is going up and down. If you didn't want to do that, you could select like a top face here and it would go in that direction, okay, or the top plane. If necessary, click reverse direction so the arrow in the graphics area points up. Can you see an arrow? You can see the arrow down here, the little arrow here, that grey one. We can see going up, going down. Set the spacing to 10, so that's where it says D1, 10. This value is the distance between corresponding points, so between each instance, it's 10 millimeters from center to center. A number of instances, we're going to reduce that to 4. This value includes the original cut extrude feature. So it's 4 including the first one that we've already created. So 1, 2, 3, 4. A preview appears. Select a preview of the pattern appears in the graphics area. Call out indicates the direction, spacing, and instances. Select cut extrude 1 for features to pattern. We've already done that. Under options, select geometry pattern. Here. Geometry pattern option speeds up the creation and rebuilding of the pattern. Individual instances of the feature are copied but not solved. Click OK. Now we can see we now have a patterned feature. Let's save the part. And now we're going to create a circular pattern of the linear pattern using a temporary axis as the axis of revolution. So we're going to show the temporary axis. So we click on the little drop down here and click temporary axis. We can see that one through the middle. That would tell me that in that sketch here, we did not need that construction line. That's fine. We're going to select circular pattern on the features toolbar. That can be found underneath linear pattern. Under direction 1, we're going to select that temporary axis. In B, we select instance spacing. So where we've got our 2 options here, you can do equal or instance. We're going to do instance. We're going to set the angle to 120 and the number of instances to 3. We didn't have that pattern selected, so we're now here in features and faces. We're going to click just in the viewport here and click on that pattern, and it's going to select it. Okay. Now you can see the 3 there, but I don't really understand why SolidWorks wrote it out this way, because we're doing 3 patterns spaced at 120 degrees, which is exactly the same as doing equal spacing over 360 degrees. So that decision there really comes to your design intent. If your intent is to equally space around the whole thing, you always just let you use equal spacing in 360. But if you want to do a certain number of instances and you want it to change the angle, then you might do it that way. Let's click next. Under features to pattern, select linear pattern 1. We've done that. Under options, select geometry pattern. We've done that. Click OK. And then we can turn off the view temporary axes. Looking good. And now a little demo on equations. So using an equation in the pattern. You can also use an equation to drive the circular pattern. In this section, the equation calculates the spacing angle by dividing 360 degrees by the number of instances desired. This creates a full circle of equally spaced patterns. In the Feature Manager Design tree, double-click pattern 1, 2 values appear. Click equations. Okay, so I don't know if this tutorial was written 10 years ago and hasn't been updated as a possibility, but what it's talking about is creating an equation to have the feature automatically divide the number of instances by 360 degrees. So I'm not going to go through this part of the tutorial. I think it's pointless. Equations will be a separate tutorial when we get to it. Okay. You can test the equation here by changing the number, but you can do exactly the same thing in the circular pattern by clicking on the circular pattern feature, clicking the number 3, changing that to 4. You can see it's going to change to 4 instances. 8, 20. We get an error. All right. Okay. So congratulations, you've completed this tutorial. That's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful and found something new to enhance your SolidWorks skills. Don't forget to subscribe to Fully Defined for more tutorials, tips and insights from a certified SolidWorks expert. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. If you have any questions or topics you'd like me to cover, leave a comment below. I read all comments and love hearing your feedback. Remember, with the right skills and tools, you can turn your design dreams into reality. Keep modeling, keep learning, and always fully defined.